Thanks for joining again. Now, that document analyzed step by step how the destruction of Iraq's water treatment plants combined with sanctions blocking the import of chlorine and replacement parts would cause epidemics of waterborne diseases among the Iraqi civilian population. It projected mass mortality. It projected child deaths, multiple different types, ages of deaths, but specifically child deaths. And then the United States destroyed Iraq's water treatment of their infrastructure, whatever maintenance they had. And then they created sanctions for over a decade. And UNICEF estimated hundreds of thousands of children under 5 died as this direct result. UNICEF, this is something, it's UNI. I'll put it in the chat if you want to check it out. And I will try to produce a document in a little bit as we get through. But we'll get there. But and I did preload a bunch of stuff for most of this, so you won't be waiting for me to look for a lot of the things here. So we'll be more fluid as I'm getting more into the style of how I'm going to be moving forward with this channel on live streams. But anyways, that document was declassified. The UNICEF and whatever happened through the DIA and all this was declassified through the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA. And it was requested by Professor Thomas Nagy at George Washington University. And it was published in the Progressive magazine in September of 2001, just days before 9/11 buried that story. So today I'm going to show you that, but this is not why you should stay. You should really stay because I'm going to connect every single investigation that I've been pulling on this channel for the last few months to what is happening in Iran right now. FARA filings, insider self-payments, dealer contract patents with Lori Frantzve, geofencing churches, every oversight mechanism that has been dismantled, like FARA with Pam Bondi. And it was all building, now I'm seeing, towards this. The war is the product, and everything else really seems to me to be the assembly line. So welcome to the Dankster Debrief on the 5th of March, Thursday, 2026. And again, if you're new here, welcome. Hit that like and the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell and set it to all because my content has been getting throttled when I talk about this stuff. Many of you have even said it in the comments, as you've noticed. And I need you to know when I go live. If you want to go deeper, you can join the Discord, patreon.com/originaldankster for just $5, or become a member here and get members only live streams every Friday for just 99 cents to help show your support and get some more insight on how I think and operate as a team. We can work together. Now, what I need you to understand before we start is that for the last few months with TPUSA, I've shown you upwards of $20 million in insider payments flowing through TPUSA's network. I've shown you defense contractors' daughter running a conservative nonprofit empire. I've shown you after the death of her husband without any grief that is appearing before us. Not just her, but the entire apparatus of TPUSA and all the friends of Charlie Kirk. I've shown you FARA documents and registered foreign agents of foreign governments, geofencing Americans, evangelical churches, and to manufacture political support and also feed the bias of a particular country. I've shown you the Attorney General of today, Pam Bondi, who has been registered as a foreign agent for the country of Qatar, taking in through Ballard Partners, I believe it was called, $115,000 a month. And she was listed as 0 conflicts of interest on her Senate questionnaire, to what I can see. And she also dismantled the oversight or the actual punishment or whatever you might want to call it when it's regarding to the Foreign Influence Task Force. And that was on day 1. Pam Bondi dismantled the Foreign Influence Task Force. Now, a lot of people ask me, how can she just take away FARA? She didn't take away FARA. What she did was she dismantled the ability or the team to reinforce FARA. And a lot of you ask, why does this matter? Where are you going with all of this, Danks? Well, I'm going to show you where it leads, because the work they just started here is, I think, where it's leading to. And there's things like Pax Judaica and water and desalinization. And we're gonna get to all of that. And everything that I talk about is I'm going to do my best to show the receipts, okay? Because I'm a receipts motivated person and I bring the facts, right? So you said, this is hilarious. I'm grieving so hard right now. Anyone have some glitter? I need some glitter. I don't have any pyrotechnics, but that's all I got. I don't know. So anyways, look, I bring receipts. That's what's led you here from the beginning. All right. And that's what's kept you here. That's what's got 150 people here on YouTube, hundreds more that will watch throughout, and thousands, hopefully, to get this message out. But receipts, you have to understand, do not have a religion. They do not have a race. They do not have a political party. I am an Iranian American, American first. I see myself as American with Iranian heritage. I am not anti anything except lies. I'm anti lies, deceit, destruction, untruth, whatever you want to call it. I'm receipts over narrative, truth over drama. So that's always, and that's what you're going to get. Now, sometimes the algorithm wants me to feed into the beat down Erika Kirk while she's down, and maybe occasionally that content will keep my channel growing. But I think the more high Q outfit content is what you are all here for, and that's what I'm going to do. So let's get into it. And for those who are new, let me get you up to speed over the next few minutes. And for those of you who have already been here, this is a nice refresher. So you're going to see why every single one of these threads matters more than you really thought. So let's talk about the Turning Point USA Financial Network. I have personally documented approximately 19.6 million, if not more, of insider connected payments flowing through Turning Point USA's entities network. We've got Jake Hoffman's companies receiving over $7 million. He's an indicted fake elector. Federally, he was dismissed, and he's now facing state charges in Arizona as a fake elector. And he's also a Facebook banned troll farm operator. Stacey Sheridan's entities received over $9 million, $5 to $10 million in vendor payments while she's working for TPUSA. The GGLF life insurance company carried a $350,000 premium on an estimated $24 million policy, which was dissolved in July in 2025, mysteriously reinstated at midnight on December, just a few days before a 90-day period would end up completing this is when you can report a death for insurance thing on life insurance. You have Justin Olson serving as a CFO for a $100 million, now potentially $1 billion corporation without a CPA license, managing an $80 million budget. Baker Tilly, the auditor, with an 83% PCAOB failure rate and a $500,000 fine. Just in the short scheme of things, there's been tens of millions in China, and there's been other things with the same Baker Tilly auditor of TPUSA. And it makes me wonder, did they pick Baker Tilly because they knew that, maybe they wouldn't be looked into so heavily? That's up for debate. Charlie Kirk was assassinated September 10th, 2025. And his wife, Erika, now is named CEO of Turning Point USA. And they've been sending cease and desist letters to investigators like Wolves in Finance and Candace Owens. The Streisand effect is alive and well because those letters confirmed rather than refuted the allegations. The defense contractor's daughter, who is Erika Kirk, the daughter of Lori Frantzve, holds a patent for critical vulnerabilities that has expired. I've talked about this on this channel. There's reasons for why I believe that patent is not just expired, but anyways, it was titled Methodology for Assessing Critical Vulnerability of Defense Industrial Sites. Her companies, AZ Tech, G Tech, E3 Tech, IMET, claimed contracts with the DoD, the Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, GSA, DOE. That is on their own E3 Tech website. She testified in the Arizona legislature on EMP and infrastructure threats. The SB 1476 passed after her testimony, or they're working through lots of different things on that behalf. So there's a lot here, right? Let me take this banner off. So again, all of these things have a purpose, all right? The FARA pipeline I documented is the consent manufacturing operation for a war that was planned on paper 30 years ago. The geofencing targeting of churches. The churches produce the political base. The base supports the politicians execute the plan. And Bondi dismantled the only federal mechanism that was surveilling it, watching it, governing it. This is not a theory. This is a documented chain with proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, the surveillance state, basically being the war technology, is really the second bridge here. Yesterday, I went on for like a couple minutes on mute, so I'm trying to be careful with how I mute. Now, look, let me pull this up. Google bought this company called Wiz. Okay, let's pull this up. What can I do on Reuters? Are they going to throw something in my face to buy something here? Maybe. Okay. Google paid $32 billion, which is a mind-boggling amount of money, for a Boston cybersecurity technology company founded by Unit 8200 alumni. Unit 8200 is the Boston intelligence unit that co-developed the Stuxnet with the NSA. David Sanger confirmed that at the New York Times in 2012. The program was codenamed Olympic Games, and the same intelligence unit that built the cyber weapon to physically destroy Iranian nuclear centrifuges produces the alumni who run cybersecurity companies embedded in American critical infrastructure. Now, James Lee actually has an interesting piece on this. I might pull that up because I liked his clip on it. I didn't think to have his because I was just going to talk about it, but I think him explaining it is really, I love his channel, man. I got to tell you, he does a great job and is worth watching. Let me pull this up, and he explains it. I think it was here. Let me find it. See if I can find the exact area, right? Oh yeah, right here. Here we go. Check this out.
Because everyone is trading with Israel.
Interesting what he's talking about there. He's talking about global financial control, and he's talking about mass surveillance, which I believe plans are already well underway. Okay, last month, we witnessed the largest ever purchase of an Israeli-founded tech company, a cybersecurity unicorn called Wiz, which Google acquired for a staggering $32 billion. We also have reports that this cybersecurity technology is how we were able to plot and kill Iran's supreme leader. And the great Baron Coleman, who at this point is probably Erika Kirk's biggest nemesis, other than maybe Candace.
Shout out to Baron coming around to the surveillance state apparatus that I've already talked about, busted wide the hell open, that I believe TPUSA is rolling out a surveillance state school by school. And they're using their events to host gatherings to gather data from people's phones through geofencing the locations they're hosted at. This is a fact. They've said it. And if you think they're not doing this through every single place that they're at, you're a fool.
Owens made an interesting observation around this hacking of traffic cameras, saying, quote, "It makes you wonder about the nationwide traffic camera infrastructure being installed across our own country, and A, the true purpose of it, and B, who has access to it." It's almost like everybody is working in concert. The powers that be, they're all working together to move this plan forward, which I don't pretend to know the totality of this plan quite yet, but just connecting some of the dots. Which, here's another dot, a clip of a US-born venture capitalist.
And we're going to get to all of this. I do want to cover a lot of that, but I'm not there yet. So, and like Baron, first of all, again, James Lee, as he said, and I've shown you on this, on that page, Google have paid $32 billion for Wiz. Okay. It's a cybersecurity company founded by Stuxnet co-developers. Okay. This is the same intelligence system that built cyber weapons to physically destroy Iranian nuclear centrifuges. Okay. These very same people created Wiz, and Google bought Wiz. Okay. To make it simple, Wiz's technology has reportedly been used in the intelligence operation that led to, look again, okay, hacked traffic cameras and U.S. intelligence, how a plot to kill Iran's supreme leader came together. So they're literally saying that they use American intelligence through traffic camera lights to kill a supreme leader, which means they have the technology deployed in the United States already. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. I haven't verified it yet, but I'm certain that they do have it and they're running it right now. Okay, and Wiz is involved. Barron, as he states here, okay, the observation should bother every single one of you. He literally said it. It makes me wonder, it also makes you wonder about the nationwide traffic camera infrastructure being installed across our own country and the true purpose of it, and B, who has access to it. Now, connect that to Lori Frantzve's patent on vulnerability assessment for defense industrial sites and what that has developed into over time, okay? I don't need to show it to you. I've shown it many times. It's a hassle because for some reason it doesn't show on my computer unless I use incognito, and I'm not using that right now, and I have to switch and all this stuff. But you've seen it if you followed this channel. Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen me show you the patent. Put a 2 if you actually put a 1 in the chat if you want me to show you the vulnerability patent. If you've seen it already, don't say anything. If there's a lot of people that want me to show it, I will show it. Other than that, we'll keep going. Now, 1. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you guys. Okay. I have it ready already. So let's pull it up. Boom, boom, boom. Here it is. Okay. Let me zoom in, make it a little bigger. Okay. So this is critically vulnerability risk logic analysis methodology for business, enterprise, and cybersecurity. Okay. There's a PDF here. It was Lawrence Gunta and Lori A. Frantzve. How about this? Why don't we open this? And then if I show you also this, we have the same person, Larry R. Gunta, also alongside with the truth finder of Lori Gunta. And then we have the truth finder of Lori Frantzve. Okay. All right. These people are intertwined and it's her ex-husband or her husband or whatever. Okay. So this is, they are intertwined. All right. Lawrence Gunta, Lori Frantzve. All right. Larry Gunta. I mean, this is the tree line. Kent. The whole family is here. Now I'm going to close that. Oh, I should have shown you. Oh, man. My bad. Hold on. I'll go through the patent again real quick. I got to open another incognito window. My bad. Critical patents. Okay, here we go. Again, so we can kind of go through it here. So method and apparatus for computer-aided assessment of risk, criticality, and vulnerability with respect to a site. The method and apparatus may use multiple factors to determine overall risk. In some embodiments, the method may assess or determine an impact if a site or asset is lost. The method and apparatus may identify and quantify what risks are acceptable and unacceptable. You can't tell me that this isn't exactly what's being used or something like it, okay? Lori Frantzve's patent, in my opinion, whatever it is, it has expired and it's ceased. They have taken this technology and expanded upon it with AI, all right? A method may incorporate mathematical evaluations and numeric assignments that result in a criticality vector and vulnerability vector. The critical vector and vulnerable vector may be used to represent a site's overall risk and prioritization and ranking relative to other sites. Okay. And then all the information is here. I can put it in the chat if you want to grab it, take a look. All right. But all this information, since 9/11, the United States government and its associated agencies such as the DOD and DHS have an increased need to assess and determine criticality, vulnerability, and overall risk relating to key sites located throughout the world. These sites are often referred to as facilities or assets. And it goes on. To reduce the burdens associated with these evaluations, surveys are commonly employed to gather information. A problem with surveys, blah, 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 summary, and all this, right? And it explains e-ticket, event, site, asset, threat, vulnerability, criticality. Includes but not limited to an electronic certification process that enables a designated site to access an administrative organization system and participate a single time in an assessment event. They can literally go into an organization's infrastructure, like computer. The term computer system is used herein, generally describing the hardware and software components that in combination allow the execution of computer programs. This computer programs may be implemented in software, hardware, or a combination of software and hardware. I mean, this is not something you just let expire unless you have a plan for it. I'm not telling you these are the same operation. I am asking you, why is it the same names, the same organizations, the same technology lineage, the same lack of oversight keep showing up throughout every node that I look through? Because I'm the receipts guy, and I'm the receipts, and the receipts keep pointing in the same direction. Now, let's talk about the third bridge, Bondi killing the Watchers, okay? The Mujahideen, you've heard of this Mujahideen al-Khaliq or whatever, the MEK. This was designated as a foreign terrorist organization by the State Department in 1997. Delisted September 28th of 2012 by Secretary Clinton. During the period when they were still designated, multiple senior U.S. officials, and I can pull this up here. This is the Mujahideen. Here we go. This is the People's Mujahideen Organization of Iran. Okay. During the period when they were still designated, multiple senior U.S. officials accepted speaking fees to speak. From MEK, the Mujahideen group, affiliated groups, John Bolton took their money, became Trump's national security advisor in 2018, and published an op-ed, I guess that's how you say it, op-ed, in the New York Times in March of 2015. And they titled it, "Stop Iran's Bomb, Bomb Iran." Right? Here it is. Bomb Iran. Bomb Iran is the name of several parodies of the regions, but yeah. So essentially, I'll repeat it again because it's kind of a mouthful here. So let's go to the top. This organization was designated as a foreign terrorist organization by the State Department in 97. So terrorist organization from our government. But then in 2012, Secretary Clinton delisted them. And during the period when they were designated still, multiple senior U.S. officials accepted speaking fees from groups related to them. John Bolton took money from the MEK, became Trump's national security advisor, and published an op-ed in the New York Times in March of 2015 titled, "To Stop Iran's Bomb, Bomb Iran." See if we can find it, actually. It'd be interesting. John Bolton. Here it is, the New York Times. "To stop Iran's bomb, bomb Iran." So yeah, that's here. God, I hate this. This is so annoying. I'd like to see more of it. Can we, maybe I can find like news. Yeah, whatever. It's all good. Bomb Iran. From the Lowly Institute. Bombing Iran has been spoken of, allegedly planned and threatened for years, but there's no sign it is about to occur. 2018. I mean, New York Times op-ed entitled "To Stop Iran's Bomb, Bomb Iran." In other words, bombing Iran has been spoken of, allegedly planned and threatened, but it's never occurred. There are any number of reasons why this is the case, and if it hasn't come to pass previously, it's certainly not going to happen while Tehran is complying with the nuclear agreement, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. And they have already come out and said through Oman that they were not going to do anything. And we had already taken out whatever they had for. They don't have any nukes. They don't have any. At least if they did, don't you think blowing up a nuclear facility would create a nuclear reaction? It's so dumb, bro. They think we're stupid. Ay, man. Anyways, if the MEK affiliated organizations are running influence operations today, they are required to register under FARA. If they are not registered, this is a federal crime. And the task force that would investigate it does not exist anymore because Bondi disbanded it on her first day. I've also documented PJTN, and I think that there's other things that PJTN, which is receiving money. Here, I can show you. PJTN, do you know what company this is? PJTN is the company owned by, let me pull it up. I'll show you exactly who this person is. So PJTN is operated through the interest of a foreign nation. Okay. This page here, let me see if I can find Lori Cardoza Moore. All right. This is the person who contacted Charlie Kirk and threatening him into his peril, warning him he would face peril for platforming Tucker Carlson, and then he died. Okay. This very same person is receiving foreign activity money every single year. It's not just self-dealing. Okay. You can go to my site. I'll put the link, PJTN. I'll put it in the chat if you can catch it. All right. This same person right here, this lady. All right. She works for Israel, bro. She works for them. She has a nonprofit that she takes 27% home to. So all the donations, she takes 30% basically, her and her husband. Okay. PJTN is denied receiving it, but I believe Pam Bondi had even documented it. She also documented PJTN, which is proclaiming justice to the nations, receiving $40,000. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Now I remember. So they were investigated and she denied it, okay, for receiving $40,000 from the Boston Ministry of Strategic Affairs through a front company called Concert. So they were able to deny it because it came through another company, a front, designed to hide foreign government funding. PJTN denied receiving it. The Ford obtained the Israeli government documents through FOIA. PJTN, by the way, is not FARA-registered. They're a nonprofit, and their mission statement, look at all these entities they're connected to. The network pattern, PJTN, TPUSA Faith, Clock Tower X LLC, Show Faith by Works, Bridges Partners LLC, all operate in the same space, mobilizing American evangelical Christians for pro-Boston advocacy. Okay. Wish I had their mission statement up here somewhere. I thought I did. Documents. Let's see. Man, this site is coming handy. Where is it? PJTN. Do I not have them? Oh, yeah. They're not FARA-filed. What am I doing? I'm stupid. Looking for FARA. They're not FARA-filed, which is crazy, bro. Here, I think, is it on the ProPublica? Here, PJTN. PJTN nonprofits. Here, it's called Proclaiming. Here, I'll just copy this. This is their, check this out. This is their ProPublica, okay? The last reported 2024. This is their IRS form, okay? So if we view filing and we look at their mission statement, this is their mission statement, okay? Remember who this is, who we're talking about. The lady that threatened Charlie Kirk. The company, which is a nonprofit, our taxpayers' dollars are going to subsidize for her company, Proclaiming Justice to the Nations, LLC, Incorporated, to promote an understanding, I'm reading this right here, to promote an understanding and or unity within the Christian and Jewish faiths, and to combine education, support, and encouragement to help individuals and groups build strong relationships within the Christian and Jewish communities and with the state of you know who and where and what. This is their mission: create relationships with Christians to build for the country of Boston. And also, she is on the board for education in Tennessee, and she gets to decide what books that your children see in the state of Tennessee. She's at least a part of it. I forget how much power she has, but she's definitely a big part of it. She's a major player. Do you think that that is who we should be allowing to govern what our children get to read and see and learn about in school? I don't, especially after that threat came to Charlie Kirk. That was pretty aggressive, if you ask me. Do you see how all of this is starting to tie together? And they're not registered as a foreign agent when they're clearly working on behalf of a foreign government, receiving money from a foreign entity. This is a federal crime, by the way, that nobody is checking, just so you know. Now, when defense budgets expand, who benefits? It's people like Erika Kirk's mother holding defense contract patents and deals. Her companies claimed, again, DOD and DHS contracts. She sits on the board of a technology company processing voter engagement data. And the war that was planned 30 years ago is now driving defense spending through the roof. Can I get there? Here, let's try this. G Tech, E3 Tech. How come it's not pulling up now? E3 Tech group. So you can see.
It's also true that Iran has water issues. 72% is pretty bad, okay? So even though the Iranians could destroy the GCC much faster than the Americans could destroy Iran, Iran is still in trouble, okay? So let me give you an example of this. This is like, so this is another map that shows you the issue of water scarcity, okay? And it's just basically the Middle East, okay? Their biggest issue in the future is water, okay? And that's where the geopolitical tensions will arise in the future over water. India is also affected as well, okay? All right, so let's look at the map, guys. This is called Lake Urmia in northern Iran. It's the 6th largest saltwater lake in the world, or it used to be. Okay, this is what it was in 1984. This is the shallow, this is the deep, okay? You guys see that? It's really big, right? 20 years later, guys, this is what it looks like. There's no more water here. You can walk from here over to there, okay? There's some water over here, but it's shallow now. That's how serious the water issue is in Iran. And that's the weak point that the Americans and the Israelis will attack. All right? They want to make sure that Iran has no access to fresh water, which will cause devastation in their nation. Okay, that's strategy number one. Strategy number two is this. This is a map of the different ethnic minorities in Iran. As you can see,
I put this in the chat so that you guys can check it out whenever you'd like.
it's a very diverse place. In the center are the Persians, but you also have 10 other groups as well. And in the borderlands, it's basically a different country, right? Like, these are basically different countries. And so these places have more common areas with their neighbors than they do with Iran. Okay, so the second weakness of Iran. The first is the water. The second is the ethnic makeup of the country. So the strategy of the Americans and the Israelis moving forward is to destroy Iran as a coherent nation state, divided into ethnic enclaves, and have them fight over water. That is the grand plan of the Israelis and the Americans. Okay, all right. This is the vision where Persia is limited, and then all these other places are sponsored by the Americans.
I just posted the link. You want to pin it? I can pin it if you want. I have to get it. It's right up here. Are you not on YouTube or something? But user in timeout. No. Here, let me pin it for you guys. Predictive History is the channel. Oops. Predictive History, Professor Lang. There you go. I'll pin it. This is important. You need to watch his channel.
And the Israelis, they're giving money, they're giving weapons, they're giving political support, and then this war will wage over water forever. Okay?
Forever.
And this is how you destroy Iran and make sure Iran is no longer a viable threat to you. That is the plan of the Americans. Okay? As you can see, it's a pretty evil plan. And that's why they have not announced it, right? Because if you announce it, you're like, why are you doing this? What the Persians, what did the Iranians ever do to you?
Remember how they said that they were going to free the Iranian people? Do you remember that? They said they were going to free the Iranians from oppression. And, you know, this is actually the reality behind what they're trying to do. Okay. This is exactly what they're trying to do.
Starting last night and to be completed in a few days, in under a week, the two most powerful air forces in the world will have complete control of Iranian skies, uncontested airspace. I hope all the folks watching
want you to keep in mind when he's saying this, the whole point originally was to stop nuclear weapons. Then it was to free the oppressed. Now we have this.
understand what uncontested airspace and complete control means. It means we will fly all day, all night, day and night, finding, fixing, and finishing the missiles and defense industrial base of the Iranian military, finding and fixing their leaders and their military leaders. Flying over Tehran, flying over Iran, flying over their capital, flying over the IRGC, Iranian leaders looking up and seeing only U.S. and Israeli air power every minute of every day until we decide it's over. And Iran will be able to do nothing about it. B-2s, B-52s, B-1s, Predator drones, fighters, controlling the skies, picking targets. Death and destruction from the sky all day long. We're playing for keeps. Our warfighters have maximum authorities granted personally by the president and yours truly. Our rules of engagement are bold, precise, and designed to unleash American power, not shackle it. This was never meant to be a fair fight.
Okay. Yeah. Now watch somebody from Iran speaking about
Who
this.
devised Iran, an intellectual, knows multiple languages, well-versed in literature. They sat and devised a system where they would develop their own drones and missiles and develop the technology in Iran at a time when drones and
Go forward a little bit.
but the sort of language that you
Here we go.
and we crush them.
Here we go. So he's asking about
people despair. And if you watch the Secretary of War today, true monster, he was saying, I wish I had it in front of me. I wasn't thinking. But he was saying, we beat them when they're down and we crush them. This is like some animal. He's a Nazi. He's a Zionist. But
Zionist.
But the sort of language that and no one in the Western media says this is outrageous. This is monstrous. No one in CNN, no one in the New York Times. Why? Because it's all the Epstein class. They're owned by the same people. Yeah, this monster.
Here, I'll play it for you.
Finding and fixing their leaders and their military leaders. Flying over Tehran, flying over Iran, flying over their capital, flying over the IRGC, Iranian leaders looking up and seeing only US and Israeli air power every minute of every day until we decide it's over. And Iran will be able to do nothing about it. B-2s, B-52s, B-1s, Predator drones, fighters, controlling the skies, picking targets. Death and destruction from the sky all day long. We're playing for keeps. Our warfighters have maximum authorities granted personally by the president and yours truly. Our rules of engagement are bold, precise, and designed to unleash American power, not shackle it. This was never meant to be a fair fight, and it is not a fair fight. We are punching them while they're down, which is exactly how it should be.
So what does that tell you?
He's a thug. He's a thug. And we're playing for keeps. What does that mean? Does that mean like in Venezuela, you're playing for keeps? Our oil is yours? That's exactly what it means. We're playing for keeps. But it's not going well for them. And they can slaughter a lot of people. I may not survive this war. Others won't survive this war. But they're not going to succeed. And this monster is not going to succeed. But the language, and then the fact that all these journalists, they're not shocked. I mean, if an Iranian leader spoke this way, I'd throw a brick at him. But this guy can speak like this, and all the opponents of Trump, when it comes to killing the Amalek, when it comes to killing Iranians, when it comes to killing Lebanese, when it comes to killing Yemenis, when it comes to killing Palestinians, this language is normal. It's okay.
So as Wyatt Reed says, when you watch him give that speech, he says there's no more lies about 30,000 dead Iranians. There's no more false outrage about women's rights. They finally dispensed with the pretense of protecting Iranians and have moved on to the stage where they massacre as many as they possibly can. That's really what he's saying, right? So all the pretense of the war of we care about the Iranian people and their freedom, and he's just saying we're going to massacre as many as we can because it's all out the window. And the real point of this is not to help the Iranian people, but to split up and turn Iran into a failed state like they did with Libya and Syria and Iraq. And now they want to do that to Iran, right? It's not about, they don't want to install another puppet. They actually just want to make it a failed state. So they're not a threat to Israel anymore. Is that really what he's saying? We're going to slaughter as many?
Yes. And we're going to.
There you go. I mean, that's what they're planning on doing. And I'm telling you, without a shadow of a doubt, that is exactly what's happening here. Let me pull up was it here and go back to what he's talking about, because he also talks not just about the desalinization, but he talks about the asymmetric method and the drones that are used from Iran, because they're able to create a lot of destruction. Whereas, I'll just let him explain it. It's at this point right here, I think, 26, right here.
Guys, to understand this idea of asymmetry. All right. So what is asymmetry?
And remember, think about Lori Frantzve. Think about vulnerability assessment. Think about foreign money, FARA being dismantled. Think about all of it because it plays a part.
Asymmetry means that the two sides are choosing to fight different wars using different techniques because one is much stronger than the other, okay? America is a great empire. It has unlimited resources. It has the USD. It controls the world, right?
Nothing changed. Nothing. So they're trying it again. Nothing's changed. It's the same place, the same outline. Go look. I mean, you could see the map going back to whenever, back until the Babylon damn near. Okay. There's a reason for that. It's not easy. So the 90-page document that I showed you, this one right here, okay, rebuilding America's defenses, clean break, all right, these things right here, super critical to understanding the regime change and their goal with no post-regime plan. This should concern every single person in this chat because the same people who cannot manage a nonprofit's finances are connected to the infrastructure supporting a war against a country that has not been successfully conquered in almost 1,000 years. Drop a 1 in the chat if you knew about the Iraq-Iran war before tonight. Drop a 2 if this is the first time you've heard that Saddam Hussein had Western backing and still could not defeat Iran. 1 if you knew already all about it. 2 if you had no idea and this is the first time you learned. This war did not start on February 28th, okay? It started with the infrastructure being under construction for over 2 decades. June of 2010, a computer worm, I'll show you, it's called let me pull this up, Stuxnet, okay? It was a computer worm discovered inside Iran's Natanz uranium enrichment facility. It targeted specific Siemens, you know those old flip phones, remember Siemens, SIEMENS? They had programmable logic controllers, and they were controlling the centrifuge motors, and it altered the speed commands to physically destroy the hardware while simultaneously replaying normal operating data back to the monitoring systems. The engineers literally were watching their screens showing everything was fine while the machines were tearing themselves apart. And then Symantec published a 69-page technical analysis document. I think I have it here. Well, I have the Wikipedia. Stuxnet is a malicious computer worm first uncovered and thought to have been developed since 2005, a supervisory control and data acquisition system, and is believed to be responsible for causing substantial damage to Iran's nuclear program. So whoever's saying that they have a nuclear program, how many times are they going to destruct this damn thing and then keep saying they're right here, they're coming from, they're going to have it 2 years, 6 months away, 4 weeks away, 3 days away. They've been destroying their program for decades and they never have actually gotten one. They've never even come close. I mean, how ridiculous do they think this is? How ridiculous do you think this is? Let me know in the chat. Is this ridiculous? How much bullshit they're feeding us versus what the reality is and what they're trying to do? Because it all comes down to Pax Judaica, which we're going to get to. Okay. So they had Symantec and Kaspersky concluded that this was a state level weapon. Okay. So David Sanger at the New York Times confirmed in 2012 it was a joint NSA Unit 8200 operation. Olympic Games, which is right here, you can see Operation Olympic Games, an unacknowledged campaign of sabotage by means of cyber disruption directed at Iranian nuclear facilities by the United States and Boston. As reported, it is one of the first known use of offensive cyber weapons. Started under the administration of George W. Bush in 2006, Olympic Games was accelerated under Obama, who heeded Bush's advice to continue cyber attacks on the Iranian nuclear facility in Natanz. Bush believed that the strategy was the only way to prevent a Boston conventional strike on Iranian nuclear facilities. Okay. And then they have also Operation Merle. I could show you that as well. This one. Merlin right here. This one was under United States covert operation under the Clinton administration to provide Iran with a flawed design for a component of a nuclear weapon, ostensibly in order to delay the alleged Iranian nuclear weapons program or to frame Iran. So they're literally providing false versions of whatever kind of deal they made. So this is what they're saying back when they gave a deal to Iran. Obama did something similar, okay, giving money back or whatever. It all ties together, okay? In 2000, the CIA deliberately sent a flawed nuclear weapons blueprint to Iran through a former Russian scientist, and the flaws might have been identifiable, meaning the operation may have given Iran some useful weapons design information. So there was a whistleblower named Jeffrey Sterling, and he went to federal prison, United States versus Sterling. You can look it up. The architect of the flawed operation faced nothing, all right? And then there's a film. It was called 0 Days Film. Alex Gibney's 2016 documentary, I have it right here. 0 Day TV series illustrates what a Chinese invasion of Taiwan could look like. It's described a program called Nitro Zeus, full spectrum capability to shut down Iran's civilian infrastructure. Make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. Let me run a banner here. Oh, members only. Excuse me. Whoa. Excuse me. Members only lives on Friday. So become a member for 99 cents. I'm sure you'll love to join us. We have a great time. Let me take this down. What happened? This thing got stuck on there. All right. Now, 0 Days has been described in different ways, but it's a full spectrum program to shut down civilian infrastructure of Iran through pre-positioned cyber access points. That's what this 0 Days kind of described, I guess, is power grid, communications, transportation. Former CIA and NSA director Michael Hayden actually appeared it on camera. And I want to be precise here. Nitro Zeus has not been confirmed through declassified documents the way Olympic Games operation was. The sources have and always been semi-anonymous at best to anonymous, but the documentary was produced by an Academy Award-winning filmmaker with the credentialed intelligence officials. All right. So I am asking a question. When the lights go out in Tehran and they tell you it was a bomb, how do you know it was not a line of code planted 5 years ago? You don't. Let me know in the chat. I'm trying to do more chat engagement to push this out to the algorithm. Let me know in the chat if you knew about Stuxnet tonight. Put Stux, S-T-U-X, in the chat if you knew. Drop new if this is the first time. Stux, S-T-U-X, if you knew about Stuxnet before and this entire cyber operation, or drop new if it's the first time you've heard of this. Now, we're in section 5. It's the water doctrine is what I've got drawn up here. 2 completely independent sources arrive at the same checkpoint, okay? A game theory professor and a declassified Pentagon document. New. All right, lots of new people learning. That's great. I love to see that. Good. We're educating Stux, but I come from a hacker virus background. Good. That's interesting. First time. Yeah. This is all important to talk about. That's why I'm saying it has to be shared. Got the receipts. I'm only talking about receipts here, baby. Stud 0. I know you're a stud 0. I know you're a stud, bro. You don't got to tell us. You can tell us if you want. Again, Professor Lang's game theory is the American and Boston strategy is to destroy Iran's water supply because the mountain fortress becomes a mountain prison without water. All right. I played that for you already. Lake Urmia in northern Iran was the 6th largest saltwater lake in the world. Did you know that? Okay. Let me pull it up on Google Earth. I still have one, right? Yeah. Lake Urmia, which is right here. Okay. This was the 6th largest water lake in the world, saltwater lake in the world. Okay. NASA satellite imagery, which I'm going to show you right here, shows 80 to 90% of that surface water is completely gone. It was the 6th largest natural saltwater lake in the world. And now it's almost gone. Iran is at a 72% water distress before any single bomb hits a water treatment facility. Okay. That's the methodology here. All right. The true methodology. Starve and thirst. Okay. Starve and thirst. This is it. You can literally see the ground underneath. This used to be deep, hundreds of feet deep, meters. All right. And it's our money funding this destruction, by the way, for Pete Hegseth. Death and destruction from the skies above. All right. Is my camera freezing or something? Let me check my internet speed. Hold on. Speed test. Oh, it's because I'm using Google Maps, I think. Let me close it. I think that fixed it. Let me just double check. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think we're good. All right. Sorry about that. Using the internet. I don't know. I got to get a better. I have fiber, but for some reason it's slowed down today. All right. Now that we've talked about that, Iran is already at risk of shortening of water. The documented presented is a DIA document, okay, intelligence agency dated in 91, Iraq water treatment. That's what I was trying to show you earlier. If I can, I had it up here. I don't know why. Oh, maybe I can show this. Let's show Thomas Nagy's Iraq water. Maybe go to news. No. Or we can do AI mode. Thomas Nagy, an associate professor at George Washington, is known for exposing U.S. government documents that detailed the deliberate targeting and degradation of Iraq's water treatment system. All right. So Iraq water treatment has vulnerabilities. Of course, everyone's does, but it was calculated how destroying water plants and blocking replacement parts through sanctions would cause waterborne disease epidemics. Okay. It projected child mortality. The strategy was implemented, and then UNICEF estimated hundreds of thousands of excess children's deaths in the following decade. Okay. So that's what this is about. Iraq water treatment vulnerability is a challenge to public health ethics. And there's all kinds of global ethics violations and issues here. The military doctrine effects-based operations of the doctrine document is that you do not need to destroy an enemy military if you collapse the systems that their society runs on: electricity, water, food, medical infrastructure. You can even show on this link right here, Professor Morandi, okay? It comes from, if I can find Professor Morandi, it is Marandi, I think it was Professor, yeah, Morandi. I think he's on here, no? Morandi? Oh, I thought he would be. Well, Professor Morandi confirmed from inside Tehran, hospitals have been hit. Gandhi Hospital, Karam Alania Hospital, Red Crescent headquarters, emergency services buildings, double tap strikes on first responders. Professor Lang had predicted this in game theory, and it's unfolding in real time. The DIA documented the playbook in 1991, and Morandi confirms the application in real time. The filings exist. It has a date, a title, a classification marking, and a FOIA release history. The filings, again, they do not have feelings. And the US government produced a classified document calculating how many children would die if they destroyed Iraq's water supply, and then they did it. Then the children died at projected rates. Do you think that that documentation would be implemented in Iran today? The document that they successfully implemented in Iraq, and it came out to projected numbers. Do you think, put document in the chat if you think that they will apply the same methodology in Iran? Document in the chat, document or doc, DOC. Let me know if you think they would apply it. Let's get reasonable here. I'll put another poll out for something as well. Is the targeting of infrastructure, here, let's do this. Start poll. Is the targeting of infrastructure, one, collateral damage? I'm making good use of YouTube's features today. Collateral damage. B, strategy. Documented U.S. military doctrine. I need more evidence. Or, and you don't have to vote, but of course it would definitely help if you did. Or this right here. Never heard of effects-based ops. Okay. So the poll that just went in the chat is the targeting of civilian infrastructure in Iran. Lateral damage, deliberate strategy matching documented U.S. military doctrine. Do you need more evidence? Or I've never heard of effects-based ops before today. Professor Lang again, I keep coming back to him because he did great work, describes the end game as Pax Judaica. Okay. Let me prepare this because we have to talk about it. Where is it at here? Pax. Oh, I got to go in here and find it online. I could just probably find it right here. Let me see. Or was it on? It was in a different one, actually. It was on James Lee's video. I'm going to go back to James Lee and you'll see. They explains it very well. It's almost like I would rather them explain it and then I'll cover it again after. This is
who left America for Israel, now telling everybody that they must.
So we're going to come back from where we ended. Remember, we were right here.
Infrastructure being installed across our own country, and A, the true purpose of it, and B, who has access to it. It's almost like everybody is working in concert. The powers that be, they're all working together to move this.
So to preface this, okay, Pax Judaica is Israelis' regional hegemony maintained through tech monopoly, financial control, and intelligence supremacy. America fights the war, exhausts itself, withdraws, and military assets can transfer to Boston. Boston becomes the center of global trade. This is like the most important part of this live stream. And I know it's 2 hours in, but this is the end game. Okay. This is the end game. So I asked, do you know the end? Earlier we were talking about what is the end game? This is the end game. Okay.
Plan forward, which I don't pretend to know the totality of this plan quite yet, but just connecting some of the dots. Which here's another dot, a clip of a US-born venture capitalist who left America for Israel, now telling everybody that they must come straight to Israel.
He said, can you even say shalom in New York anymore? That's what Miriam said this morning. So just to pick up on that, what I'll tell everybody is skip Miami. If you're leaving New York, just come straight to Israel. The other thing going on right now is IMEC. And we have here in the audience, Daria, wait, raise your hand. Daria Pishavar, her father and I, Shervin, wrote an article together about how there will be peace between Israel and Iran. As President Trump said, they will join the Abraham Accords. And Noor Pahlavi is here. Her Excellency, thank you for joining us. And I think we'll see, by the way, even more regional integration with the 70 million people of Iran and all the other Gulf nations. And as IMEC runs through Israel, the opportunities are literally going to be limitless. And so we will, over the next decade, build this trillion-dollar economy. And you can decide, you can stay here in New York in a declining empire, or you can come to Israel, which is part of the rising middle of the world, which is moving south and east.
I'm telling you, this is the end game. And I had a conversation with someone last night. I was talking to Bays, and I said, look, I think what's happening is we are in so much debt, and the U.S. knows that. And Boston keeps getting all of this funding, this money, this technology infrastructure, these businesses being opened up over there, the oil money that's coming in. Barron talked about it on his channel. The oil money coming from Venezuela is going into a Zionist organization that is harvesting that money and then using those funds to open up technology facilities and schools in Boston. So they are, in my opinion, taking the money and applying debt and taking the tax and feeding it all in cash to Boston and Israel, okay, Israel. And essentially, they are building an infrastructure for a new world regime, monetary-wise, with no debt. So these business people that are focusing on getting everything there tax-free from our backs, building a whole new organized country funded through this Pax Judaica.
That's what I encourage you to do.
This is an American telling you to move to Israel.
You can stay in New York in a declining empire, or you can come to Israel. And in terms of peace with Iran, I wonder what specific tactics the Israelis and the Americans, for that matter, are using to bring Iran into the fold. I don't know. And also back to the point of America being a declining empire. I'm not saying we're not a declining empire. I think we certainly are by many metrics, but the elephant in the room, the big question is, could there be this foreign country that is siphoning the value out of America and strip mining everything? Could that be being done deliberately to weaken the United States?